Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
A jaw-dropping letter shows how a wealthy socialite pleaded for forgiveness with the parents of 2 boys she killed with her car after a boozy lunch in L.A. Rebecca Grossman, 60, laments not driving her Mercedes into a tree instead of the boys' fragile bodies, which she hit at a speed of no less than 73 miles per hour in 2020. The Los Angeles socialite, who prosecutors branded as a narcissist, also writes about her harsh childhood and how she herself has suffered 2 miscarriages. A well-heeled woman who allegedly had a boozy lunch with her former Dodgers star lover before fatally hitting the 2 boys, Grossman was found guilty of murder earlier this year. The correspondence was used by prosecutors to paint her as unrepentant, 3.5 years after she struck 8-year-old Jacob Iskander and brother Mark, 11. The boy's mother, Nancy Iskander, was also nearly hit, but able to grab her youngest, 5-year-old Zachary, and dive for their lives. Nancy and husband Kareem received the note from Grossman in March, a month after she was found guilty of murder. During the trial, Grossman's lead attorney repeatedly blamed Scott Erickson, a retired MLB pitcher, for the deaths, suggesting his car hit the boys first as the pair, reunited after Grossman briefly separated from her husband, sped down the street. The jury didn't buy it, and a judge 4 days ago threw out the killer's bid to have her murder convictions overturned. The letter, aired in Grossman's sentencing memorandum Wednesday, was never before seen, and helped put her away. "I've not had the opportunity to write you since I was incarcerated, and I had a chance to read my letter so it could be typed and sent to you." The typed 3-page letter, sent on March 11th, begins. "First, I want to express the profound sadness that I feel daily and that there's not a day that passes that I don't think about you and pray that you and your children are surrounded by guardian angels. And that of course includes your forever angels, Mark and Jacob." She goes on to state she hopes the boys are watching over her to protect her from any more pain, while shielding her family from harm for each of their remaining days on earth. Disclaiming how this note was not the first, Grossman added, "I truly hope that one day you'll be open to reading all the letters that I started writing to you and continued writing to you over the last 3.5 years. Grossman goes on to state how she desperately wanted to reach out to the couple, but was stopped time and time again by people presiding over the case. "I have been and will always be so very sorry," she asserts at a point. "I have expressed my feeling of profound sadness. Even those were taken and redacted, blocking out my words or remorse, or the actions I wish I could have taken to prevent the accident," she adds, after prosecutors claimed Grossman was impaired with alcohol at the time of the crash, from the drinks she'd had with Old Flame Erickson earlier in the day. She goes on to claim she would have driven her car into a tree if she had the chance, before embarking on a sob story about her childhood and life. A few weeks later, a judge would cite her boozing and speeding in his decision to uphold her conviction. "As God is my witness, if I had seen anyone in the road ahead of my car, my knee-jerk reaction would have been to immediately steer away hard, to avoid hitting anyone or anything," Grossman, who is married with kids of her own, writes. "I wish that I had seen something, even a glimpse, any sign of anything. I have relived that split second in time over and over in my head a billion times. I give you my word that if I had been given the opportunity, I would have driven my car into a tree," she goes on to state. "I wish God had given me the opportunity to give my life instead of that of Mark and Jacob's. I'm not afraid of death, I know that our souls live eternally." She then hones in on her self-professed strong relationship with our Heavenly Father, which she says started at a very young age. "I feel His presence always, even after this tragic and unthinkable accident," she writes. "At first, it was difficult to function at all. I could not remember what people had said to me minutes earlier." She then remarks how her elderly mother died within a year of the tragedy, after 5 years of suffering from Alzheimer's.